Are we live? Welcome everyone to KZN Top Business Women 2022 edition. This year, KZN Top Business is looking to celebrate women of influence in the KZN region. They're looking at women who have been able to have influence in their sectors, in their industry, as well as in the greater society, the communities that they work in, as well as the economy of KZN. We will be running a series of webinars over the next 3 weeks. This time, every Thursday, we will get to chat to some of the finalists of KZN Top Women and ask them questions and hopefully able to inspire you as well. So guys, the format's pretty easy. What we're going to do is very quickly go around and in 60 seconds, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business. Let us start with Lenore.
Good evening, everybody. How are you? Right, my name is Lenore Goss-Mikey. I am the owner and CEO of Styled by Lenore, so I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also the vice chairperson of Women in Business at the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I'm a former educator, and I'm also former Latin American and ballroom dancer, instructor, and adjudicator. Currently, my business is involved in fashion, personal stylist, image consulting. And I've just recently, in the last few months, diverted a bit, and I'm looking at exploring medical supplies into Africa, as well as clothing, anything involved in beauty, fashion, makeup, accessories. I'm looking at exporting into Africa on the whole. And for me, most importantly, I'm a mom of three big babies, 20, 17, and 13 years old, and I'm extremely happy married to my hubby of 23 years. And I suffer with a condition called fibromyalgia, which I unfortunately picked up about 16 years ago after an injury. And that has basically led me to the space that I'm in today. So my thing is blessed to be a blessing. Nothing in life is a failure. It's all learning lessons and positivity. Thank you.
I'm speaking, sorry, I'm on mute. I was saying, you know, there's a saying that, thank you for sharing that with us. And that's so wonderful to hear your story. I was just speaking about, there's a saying that says, through your pain, you can discover your purpose. And really speaks to some of the challenges that we face. And I think especially as women in business, sometimes our challenges are quite extraordinary. We're both caregivers and breadwinners. And so we wear dual hats. And so the complexity of our lives are so much more. Thank you very much for sharing. And very exciting. So you're looking to take products out of South Africa into the rest of the continent? Is that what you mean?
Absolutely. Yes, that is my own personal label in terms of medical scrubs that I'm trying to make more stylish and fashionable for our doctors and anybody in the health and beauty sector. I'm taking that, and yes, medical supplies, fashion, accessories, makeup. I'm looking to export that into Africa at large.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Next, Caroline.
Perfect. Thanks so much for just checking. I unmuted myself there. Perfect. So my name's Caroline. I'm the Chief Operations Officer of DNKA Incorporated. We're an audit and accounting practice based in the Upper Highway. And my role is really all about just making sure that our clients receive a high quality service while meeting their regulatory and compliance needs as well. Currently, we look after about 300 businesses in KZN and also beyond. We've got a few in other provinces and also outside of the border. And they're mainly small to medium-sized owner-managed businesses. And I think what I love about what I do is that every day I get to work with different business leaders in KZN, and I really get to meet them, the people that work for them, and the customers that they service. And really what I do is kind of problem solving. And I enjoy that. Every single day is different. So that's what's exciting for me. And then before I joined DNKA, I worked for 2 years for an NGO based in Edendale in Pietermaritzburg called With Kids United, which is a HIV education and youth charity. And my role there was to develop a program for young unemployed teenagers. And I'm really proud of what we did there, actually. Very different to what I do now, but it was a fantastic opportunity. And then the last thing, I guess, that kind of makes me unique is although I manage an accounting practice, I'm not an accountant, which often surprises people. But it means I think I look at things a little bit differently, which is a huge benefit. So our whole team is actually diverse. We obviously do have accountants and auditors, but we've also got myself. We've got somebody with an industrial psychology background, somebody with an HR background. And I really think that helps us give a holistic solution to our clients in KZN. So that's me. Oops, sorry, Zanella, you're also muted again.
I keep doing that. I need to stop.
No problem.
I'll just leave it off. So that's fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
No problem.
And I mean, I'd love to get some insight from you. We look at post-COVID, post-lockdown economy, especially in KZN. We had riots as well, COVID, and unemployment is really, really rife. So people are looking to start small businesses. People are, having to look at entrepreneurship, and a lot of people say that that's what's going to drive the economy as we try and move forward, if we're ever to start to be able to revive some of our economy. What are some of the biggest challenges, maybe top 2 challenges small businesses face that you deal with?
I think for us, we actually at the moment seeing great success in small and medium-sized business, which is really awesome to see. And it's a great sign of things recovering post-pandemic and also other factors. So things are looking good for us on the ground. But I think the biggest thing they struggle with is that entrepreneurs are really fantastic at what they do, but not necessarily at meeting the compliance and accounting burden that goes along with it, and knowing how to use that in a way that's going to add value to their business. So I think it's about picking an accounting partner or a business advisor that can really support you through those early stages. Because we always say to people, and we've had quite a lot of entrepreneurs that have come onto us who now have really large flourishing businesses, just get things right from the beginning. It's so much easier if you set it up. So I think that's probably the one of the biggest challenges. And then the other one is accessing quality team members, staff members. So I think lots of businesses in KZN are busy looking for really fantastic team members, and it's having a recruitment system that's going to allow you to attract the right people so they can help your business grow. I think those are probably the 2 biggest challenges our clients see.
100%. I absolutely agree. In the age of information, they say that it's all about phenomenal people who are going to innovate and create ideas that are going to drive business and drive the world forward. And it's a talent-driven economy. And so the only difference between you and your competitor is going to be the people you have working
100%.
inside your businesses. And I think quite often small businesses have that challenge, that the affordability, component when it comes to part of the attraction, right? And so how do you create a value proposition that then becomes compelling for somebody to want to join you as a small business and add that value? Awesome. Love to hear it. Gabby.
Thank you.
Gabby, you with us?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Thank you so much. My name is Gabby Malopi. I'm the founder and the director of Total Agriculture College South Africa. Started the college 2015. This is post my life experience of thriving for intellectual stimulation and not having the forces or the resources to be in an educational space in a way, and an opportunity through the CETAs gave me a light bulb to tune my life and tune the path and the journey that I'm in. And that actually encouraged me to want to radar into a space of giving young people in the rural areas, because that's my background, an opportunity to study and not be limited because they are far away from higher learning institutions. And one of the biggest thing, I think, clearing into being vulnerable, I'm a cancer survivor. And one of the challenges that experience was being in a car accident and not being able to walk and be in a wheelchair for quite a long time. And, you know, I realizing that I'm sensibly walking in the disability space. Agriculture recovered me. So then it made me want to even invest in more to give to, you know, agricultural health, which is what is really taking over now as the engine of life. And apart from that, I am the founder as well of Gabriva clothing label. I love clothes, and and I see anything, I just want to turn something into it, but it's also more of how it naturally makes you feel after you have explored that. And apart from that, I'm recently being appointed as the KZN Center for Rural Development president to advocate for SMMEs and to empower young women in the space of agriculture and empowering them to rejuvenate the SMME and the business or entrepreneurial space post-COVID, post-riots, post-floods. Solutions are entrepreneur is the way to go. And of course, with Total Agriculture College, we're venting so much into technology. You know, we're getting into drone farming. We're making the waves in making sure that technology sustains us when we experience or even meeting with challenges. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So you seem to do a fantastic story, and like each and everybody else here, phenomenal to hear, you know, the obstacles that you've overcome, and thank you for sharing with us. You seem to do, like a lot of people in this new day and this new age of work, people say, I'm not one thing, don't put one label on me, right? I enjoy agriculture, but I also enjoy fashion, but I also enjoy technology, but I also, you know, there's many facets, we're multifaceted as human beings. How do you manage the complexity of having so many things that you do and so many different interests? How do you find balance to be able to give to all of those things equally?
Beauty of it is loving all of them, and finding balance comes with understanding that in this life, you grow to stop following trends, but setting trends. And this is like my DNA status. Wherever I am, I just want to do what is not normal. I want to be unique. I want to show young people that, and especially young women, that it is possible. I mean, I'm a mother of two beautiful twins, 11 months at this age. And I'm also an author, whom I think very soon, post maternity, I can actually say the two books can come out, just specifically speaking about life of being an orphan and also being, you know, in a divorce space, something that nobody talks about. So the title of the books, I have The Unanticipated Life, which nobody tells you, give you a script on how your life is going to turn out, and The Return Soldier. I mean, when you have cancer, it's like a write-off system, and when you recover from that, you have to share, because the recovery is a wonderful, magnificent space one can find themselves in. So, you know, setting trends, not following trends, that's my goal.
Fantastic. Love to hear it. Thank you for sharing with us. Jackie, where are you? I don't see Jackie.
It's me.
There you are. Sorry,
yes. How do I match that? These are such awesome stories.
Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm humbled.
6 seconds, Jackie, share with us.
My story is very simple. I left the corporate world after 35 years, a year and a half ago, 20 years in my last job as the HR director of a large corporate in KZN, simply because after so many years, at my age, I wanted flexibility. So I have the time now to spend time with my family, which I'm absolutely loving. The second thing I wanted to do after many years was to open my own little business like Lenore and some of the other ladies in the group. So I've opened up 2 businesses. One is literally ready to roll. The other one is, it's quite far down the way. That business is coaching, mentoring, and mental health counseling. So I'm doing executive coaching, management coaching, mentorship of graduates, which I absolutely love, because one of the challenges in South Africa today is to upskill our youth, and there just isn't enough. I feel I have a lot of years behind my back to assist with getting them up and running, to get ready for to be productive in the economy. So that's the one major aspect in our country. The second aspect is that of capacity building of women. So those are two key focus areas in my mentoring and coaching, amongst other people. Thirdly, I serve on the board of the Durban Chamber. I work with the SMME space. It's brand new to me. It's completely different from working in a corporate, and it's absolutely exciting, exhilarating, fantastic. I'm currently mentoring small businesses, which is great. I'm mentoring some students, and I'm working with professionals, preparing them for management. So a completely different space on the mentorship side. With the chamber, as a board member, I find it a lot more impactful than just working in a corporate. So we've worked with the floods, we've worked with the challenges around looting, we've worked with the issues around Transnet. So one can be a lot more impactful as a non-corporate citizen. So I'm loving it. That's me.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. So my question to you, Jackie, is KZN and getting more women into leadership positions, getting more women onto boards of, organizations that can have impact into greater society. What do you think needs to happen in order for us to start to create the critical mass that we need to reflect us, so that we can be making the policies that are inclusive in organizations that reflect women?
Yeah, I think women tend to hide their lights under a bushel. Women aren't generally, we tend to stand back and let men take the limelight. I think women need to, wherever they're at, they need to make an impact. In business, they need to find their voice. They need to raise their voice. They need to give their opinion. They need to be confident about their opinion. They need to be confident about where they want to be and what they want to do without fear of being ridiculed. Often I find that women are afraid to speak out, and you make an impact where you are, because that's what sets you up for the next thing. And then also to find a good mentor or coach who can help you through those obstacles, because there are many, and lots of women face that imposter syndrome. They feel they're not good enough. And I think they need to step up and step out, because I think they're very capable. I mean, look at these women on this this platform. They're just amazing.
Yeah, and if they feel they have gaps, there's individuals like you that can assist in terms of coaching and mentorship. I really believe that having a mentor or a sponsor, or a coach is incredibly, so I coach as well. And I find that the most senior of executives always know when they need help, and they're the first to put up their hand. But where, the further down you go, the more you almost have to convince people that it's not a slight on their name, or it doesn't show incompetence to have a coach, or to, be mentored, or to get that help that you need. And I think we need to also start normalizing that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I believe that. Thanks.
Awesome. Fantastic. Who do we have next? Jasmina.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
hi,
no
hello everyone. I'm Jasmina Shiva, mother of 3, married for 21 years. I am the director at Royal Tyres. We are a tire fitment center, best drive franchise. My role is head of admin and compliance, which covers and oversees HR, accounts, admin department, ensuring that the company functions in a legal and ethical manner. across all departments while meeting business goals. Royal Ties is a family-run business started by my grandfather in 1939. I am the first female director in our history of 83 years. Since I've joined the business in 2011, I have implemented many changes. One of the changes would be with HR. So Jackie will be able to identify with this one, and changing the culture of our company by creating an environment that our employees are happy to be in, also creating a good standing relationship with our suppliers.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, and congratulations on being the first female director. And that's a very male-dominated industry.
Yeah, it's a multi-industry. It's the multi-industry, the retail multi-industry.
Absolutely. And what are the complexities of working in a family-run business? You know, what are the challenges that you face, and how have you overcome some of them?
You know, the thing is that we know each other so well, so it's very easy to manipulate one another. And we do have our different way of thinking, and, you know, but, you know, overall, we always try and align ourselves to what we're trying to achieve. What is our goal in mind? So we've got this goal set. How are we going to get there? We try not to get too personal, which we do at times, but we're in a good space right now.
That's fantastic. Yes, I suppose that familiarity. How do you become Jasmina at work to be taken seriously, or to be approached in a different manner to being who you are at home when you're working with people that see you every single day, and striking that balance?
Definitely, definitely, especially being the only female on our management team. So it does pose a different way of thinking. You know, everybody has a lot of respect for me. So there's no, you know, like, you know, you're a female, so you don't know what you're talking about. I'm very well supported. I have to say that I'm very well supported. It's just the challenge comes in when there's a difference in thinking. I would always go for, you know, things like, oh, we need to get involved in this female thing. It's like, why do you want to do that? Everybody wants to know about us, you know? So it's always that they don't feel that, you know, females want to be interested in ties and stuff like that. So I'm trying to kind of change that. It is a major challenge. I have to say, even our customer base, when we get, you know, female customers coming in, it's very few. I mean, we've done our segmentation on our system, our POS, and the ratio compared to males is so far and between, you know, it's like 80% males and maybe like 20%, and that's even, I'm being modest here, female customers that come in and actually get their tires changed. They always
I'm a culprit. I don't get my tires changed. I actually had a burst tire just last week, and I called, you know, a male that I know, and I have way too many other things I'm trying to work out, manage in my life. I wasn't going to learn a new skill, and I just said, bring it back.
But, you know, you don't have to know anything about the tire. I mean, when you come into our store, we kind of educate all customers, whether it's male or female, as to what's going on. So you feel fairly confident. You're not feeling like, okay, you need to change your tires when you don't need to. It's explained to you, so, you know, on a very basic level. But it's just this female kind of thing that, okay, I'm not going to go and do that.
Sorry, culprit, like I said. But thank you very much. Keep doing the work, and hopefully we'll start to see a change.
Thank you.
We'll know there's change when you see me walking through the doors.
When I see you changing your own tire.
Absolutely, absolutely. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jasmina. Anela, hi, sorry, I'm going absolutely mad. Anela, that's correct. Hey, you're next.
Hi.
60 seconds.
Awesome. 大家好. Hello, everyone. I am Anele. I am the Marinitis founder, chief overthinker, and overall creative person. Yeah, so it is an eco-luxe brand, an online shop where it was born out of curiosity and a love for natural products and just a general loving to create. It was actually, so I'm a Durban born and bred, and but I'm an aspiring global citizen. So this was born out of almost necessity. The business started a project in China, in northern China, where I lived, and it got to minus 40 degrees in the winters, and the winters were pretty long, about 8 months of winter. And I realized that my skin wasn't that great, and my hair was falling out, and I thought, oh, what is this? And I realized that it's probably because I can read the labels and I didn't know what was in my products. And in this little kitchen in Hobin, there we go, we started making and experimenting with my own products. And one thing led to another, to friends asking me to make them products. And then the next thing, I am in Chinese markets. And that's how I started the brand. So it's become what it is now. Come COVID, came here for a wedding and I never went back. Came back with one suitcase and never went back. So that's how the actual business started. So before it was a project and now it's a business. Yeah, so it is. Yes, I thought you were about to ask me something.
No,
yes, I am a former Greenpeace volunteer facilitator. So environmentalism comes way back and deep into my products, and it's well researched. I formulate all my products, and that comes in turn with what I do today. I am a chief experience manager for a raw materials distribution company. So I still help people formulate their products if they want to make. I make suggestions on all those type of personal care goods. I try to go the green route, but not everyone can handle that firepower.
That's absolutely fantastic. What a wonderful story to share. I've often heard from people that are in e-commerce that sometimes the African market is quite a difficult market to break into because there's trust issues. They don't want to go digital. They want to go to a physical store, pay money, get a product back. And your product sounds like it obviously is geared in some way towards, different skin types and is more inclusive. How do you then start to include that segment of the market into your digitized product distribution channel?
Yeah, I must say that has been a challenge, especially because I started this in China where e-commerce is the way to go. I was selling all these products via WeChat to people all over. And it's very different here where people have to touch, smell, and actually know who you are to purchase the product. So it comes with reassuring because I am very active. If someone sends me a message, I will reply straight away to make sure that this is a human that's behind this and not just someone who's waiting for a sale. The other thing is I've done a lot of markets. So some people would have seen me at the Shangweni market, at the iHeart market. So a lot of the customers come from there as well because they've seen it's real, it's tangible. That is the big difficulty, is always trying to convince that this is a real product and it's the online shop works. It's very different to, China and here. So that it's been interesting to say the least.
100%. Thank you very much. And we wish you luck on that journey. 60 seconds, Yushi.
Good evening. Thank you, Zanele, for the warm intro and welcome. I'm amazed by all you ladies. It's truly an honor to represent my company, the DRG brand, as a nominee for this year's KZN Top Women in Business. I am Yoshi Naidu, PEO Services Manager at DRG. My responsibilities include onboarding and communications for our international PEO client base, also known in some circles as Employer of Record Services. My role includes engaging with our international clients and networks, ensuring the delivery of our high-quality total HR service. In simplicity, we provide the staff of our clients with the services of a full HR department, ensuring that they are always 100% compliant from your labor law, employee tax, and your social security perspectives. Our service includes providing staff members with access to employee benefits and ensuring that they are paid accurately and on time. After 25 years in HR, my experience and training have equipped me with the skills to build a solid foundation that ensures clients first-class professional services without erasing any excitement I feel in my role. Progressing from an HR admin role to PEO services manager to me is an accomplishment that enabled my niche at DRG, especially since this function has grown significantly over the past years. This success has given me the passion to thrive as a well-rounded professional and a confident woman in business. I am gifted with natural talents that aid my ability to establish solid client relationships, which in turn allows me to enjoy my work more and perform better. Developing relationships of respect and trust with clients is an aspect of my job that I prioritize. In a nutshell, that is me, Yoshi Naidu. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing with us. Maybe just to understand a little bit more. So your business would then provide HR services to, I heard you talk about international clients, but potentially I see that small businesses could utilize your services as well. So a business maybe with 10 staff or and doesn't warrant or require to have their own HR department, but still requires the functionality. Is that something that you do?
Yes, Aneli, definitely. PEO services or employer of record services, we provide to our international clients. Our local clients, yes, we do run payroll services, and we can provide you the total support function of an HR department. We come in with our professionals. We've got, in terms, we can provide you, as I said, payroll services, HR administration and management. We have a legal HR, IR services as well. We can guide you in terms of all your labor issues. Yeah, so we can offer that to these small and medium businesses as well.
And are these international companies that are in Durban, functioning in Durban, operating in our economy, doing things and contributing to Durban's economy?
Well, it's international companies that don't have a registered entity in South Africa. So they use DRG's registrations to employ locally. So we run that HR service support function on behalf of these international companies.
Fantastic. I think that's definitely a good service to offer to small business as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lindell, 60 seconds. Hi, Lindell. I don't know if she can hear me. Hi, Lindell.
Sorry, you guys didn't even hear that little bit of an introduction. Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry that I was a little bit late. I just landed like 20 minutes ago. And I'm really honored to be a part of this panelist, and I've managed to catch up with some of your stories. I think it's so inspiring. I'm a 42-year-old wife and mama of 4. I've been born and bred in Phoenix, and I currently reside in Umhlanga. I have my BCom degree in marketing and business information systems, which has held me in good stead for the business that I'm currently in. So I left corporate South Africa about 10 years ago. I had spent about 15 years there. My last position was in Unilever SA as marketing manager, sorry. And when I left, it was purely because I really wanted to own my own time. I wanted to own my own levels of income that to achieve my dreams. And I wanted to really spend time with my family. So my first business was Kids Emporium. So I bought a franchise, which was Kids Emporium KZN, and it
We're losing you a little bit there, Linda.
Engagement.
Hi, Linda, we're losing you a bit.
2014. Can you hear me now?
Okay, it's better now.
Should I just maybe leave and rejoin so that my connection is a little bit better?
Absolutely fine. And in the
Is
meantime,
it better now?
It is a little bit better.
Perfect.
Maybe if you log off and try come back in, because it is a
Sure.
bit pixelated and it's dragging. We have a question that we can take that has been posted to the webinar in the meantime while we're waiting for you to join.
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So the question is, how do you overcome imposter syndrome? Hi, sorry. Okay, so the question is from anonymous attendee, how do you overcome imposter syndrome when you work so hard and you are continuously told that you are valuable on the team, but only your male colleagues are invited to the social events like after hours drinks? How do you break that barrier? Because it feels as if I'm expected to work in the background while others are pushed in the limelight and are getting ahead in their career. When I do raise the concern, I am told that I am very valuable and destined for great things and that I need to be patient. Is being patient the solution, or am I just being used because I am so committed to this job? Jackie, this sounds like it's one for you. Can you respond to anonymous, Jackie? Hi, Jackie. Do we still have you on the line?
Mute. Okay, there it is. Yes, and that's a lovely question. Many of us, about 76% of people, experience this syndrome called the imposter syndrome. And I think the first thing is to recognize that you feel that you are an imposter and you're not capable. It's not so much about other people. And it comes from a family background or various other situations. So I think firstly is to recognize that it's not you, okay? If it is you, then you need to work on this particular situation. Speak to people about it, to get kind of validation that what you're feeling is either you or it could come from elsewhere. Okay, so if you are being treated badly at a team level, I think it's important to recognize it and then gather up the courage to confront the people or the person who is treating you that way. Just be honest, open, authentic about it and deal with it, and get them to open up to you about what the issue really is. If they say, for example, as she or he is experiencing, that you just need to be patient, then dig deeper about what that actually really means. Be patient. Does it mean more time, more experience, more development? What does that mean? And an indication of how long it would take to get closer to what your goal is. And that's an important aspect in coaching, where you deal with what your goals are. But I think, I'm not sure that it's so much an imposter syndrome as it is a feeling about how this person's treating him or her. And that's what has to be dealt with. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing. I think there's two different things happening here. You could be labeling it imposter syndrome, and that what you're really talking about is that you're too scared to step up and address the situation or confront the situation in a way, because you may be forced to then make a decision one way or another, given sort of how it plays out. But I think it's important to know what the criteria are for those promotions. You know, what it is that you're being measured on, what it is that they're being measured on, how, you know, culture of an organization speaks to discretionary behavior, right? How people behave when nobody's looking. And it's incredibly important to know that what is it that's actually valued in this business that I'm working in? And is this business aligned to me and to my particular values? Because if the organization says these are our values, and they say, you know, committed to your job, drive for excellence, and all these wonderful things, but actually they only promote boys club members, right? Then it means that actually there are other drivers for values in terms of that culture, and there are other things, and then maybe that organization is not really aligned to who you are. And that is something that's a hard truth. Then you then need to actively deal with. Yeah. Okay.
It's not you see, the imposter syndrome means talks to you not feeling up to the task, feeling afraid, feeling you cannot do the job, feeling that you're not good enough. But as I said earlier, you need to find your voice as a person, as a human being in an organization, and confront those behaviors that are putting you down. And that's slightly different, in my opinion.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jackie. We have got two more finalists to chat to. So we've got Cherry, and we've still got Lindell. Lindell, are you in a better position to chat to us, or should we start? Can we connect?
Yeah, I think if you guys can hear me, then I can go ahead.
Wonderful.
Just in case my connection
60
drops
seconds,
again.
we're starting to run out of time, and we've still got some questions to answer.
Sure. Okay. So I'm just going to be really quick. So I'm a mom, 42-year-old mom and wife, mom of 4. I own a business called Hannah Grace Maternity. My education lies in the e-commerce platform, the e-commerce digital side of things. So I spent my corporate years at Unilever SA. My first business was Kids Emporium KZN, which is a franchise that is a boutique kids store. And I founded Hannah Grace Maternity online in 2014 to address the consumer need for good maternity wear that is affordable. We then went into our business has grown, and during COVID, we decided that we needed to do our own manufacturing. So currently, we have our own factory that operates out of Station Drive from the Designer Hub, and we've opened 2 other e-commerce platform stores as well. So we sell on 6 international e-commerce platforms, as well as certain boutique retailers. I think for me, my biggest accomplishment has been seeing my employees grow and attain the same things that I wanted as a mom, which is flexibility of time and to not have capped earnings, because I believe that good performance should be met with good earnings. So to be able to achieve that in the lives of my employees has been my biggest reward.
That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. It was a story was definitely worth hearing. A few questions from my side. It's been said that manufacturing in South Africa is a lot more expensive than perhaps Chinese markets, where costs of labor are cheaper, etc. How do you then stay competitive from a cost perspective manufacturing in South Africa?
First of all, Zanelia, I think that it's a myth, because I think because we are now competing with the likes of China, people automatically assume that you're going to get it cheaper. But just remember, cheaper comes at a cost as well, because the quality is not the same. And when we buy from local manufacturers, we're actually feeding into the lives of future generations. It's from if you look at our children and the economy that we are building as women, step by step, brick by brick, it's not for ourselves, it's for our children. So therefore, when you look at manufacturing in South Africa, it's a huge myth that it is expensive, because I do believe that we get quality here in South Africa that you cannot get elsewhere. The labor that we pay for, I don't believe in paying minimum wage. You pay above minimum wage so that you get the best out of your employees. And then you charge for a product that you believe in. And consumers will catch to that. They will catch to that your brand is worth paying extra for, because you are supporting the local economy and creating jobs.
Fantastic. Thank you very, very much. And I do agree with you that we need to plow back into our own economy so that we can start to shift our current dynamic in South Africa. All right, Cherry. Are you with us?
Good evening, everybody. Apologies for that dreadful photo, but we could not get the camera working, and I dressed up so beautifully for tonight.
We would have loved to see it.
Next time, hey? Yeah, so I'm Cherry Armstrong, and I'm the CEO and founder of an NPO called Celebrate Life SA. We support women empowerment and upliftment in rural communities. We have a fantastic project going, which we have been doing for many years, called the Ubuntu Micro Bakery Project. And we put these wood-fired ovens and micro bakeries into communities. We teach the ladies to bake. We mentor them for a year, and they run their own businesses, earn their own incomes, feed a lot of children, a lot of communities. And we're very, very proud of what we do. I'm very passionate about it. I love working with the ladies, and I love working with the children. And these ovens, just in a nutshell, can bake 60 loaves a day, which is like 13 sandwiches per loaf. And we've got over 200 ovens out there nationally in the community. So we just love this, and you'll have to look it up because it's very long and involved to explain in a minute. But just the joy that I see on ladies' faces when they actually get donated this, and then they've got to make it work as a business. It's just something I'm so passionate about. I have worked in communities before as a nursing sister in clinical trials with TB and HIV. I used to own my own palliative care business, so I know a lot about cancer and HIV in communities as well. Yeah, I don't know what makes me too unique, which is one of the questions on our thing, but I think just having the energy to be able to, I love Africa. Africa beats in my soul, and having the energy to be able to just do something you absolutely love every single day in communities, I guess just makes everything in one's life completely worthwhile.
That's fantastic. And I love your story. How do we get more people to participate in their communities in an impactful way? How do we draw people in? Because I come across so many people, they always, everybody wants to do something, but it's, where do you start? How do people start to get involved in things like this?
Yeah, that's a good question, Zanelli, because you've really got to have the motivation, and you've got to have focus on what you're going to do. People ask me sometimes to do food bags or something. I don't do food bags. We teach and uplift women to earn their own income. So you've got to pick your battles. There's so much to do out there, and there's so much happening out there, from vegetables to goodness knows what. Looking after orphans, the creches, etc. But you have to pick what you want to do, and you need to go and actually make a difference in that area. There are a lot of people who want to do and never do. You've got to get out there and do it.
100%. Yeah. And potentially it is exactly that. Pick one thing you're passionate about, something that is within your sphere of influence, and you don't necessarily have to start big, start something small, and take it from there. And also, I think maybe to partner with other people that want to do something in that particular space, so that you can, have support while trying to do something like this.
Absolutely. I mean, we Celebrate Life collaborates with quite a few different companies, and we bring in someone who's doing the vegetables in a school, and at our bakery that's feeding the kids and feeding the community, and somebody with a cycling course, and we do this whole collaboration. So it's also wonderful to know that you can work together without treading on each other's toes and make a whole difference instead of half a difference, if you know what I mean.
100%. Thank you very much. Love the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And yeah, we're definitely going to be following some of your projects.
Thank you so much, Zanelli.
Awesome. I have another question, ladies, and this one is very specifically to Anele. Anele, the question says, keen to understand how Anele sees the South Africa business environment versus the Chinese business environment, and what the future holds for South Africa-China relations.
This is a biggie. It's a very big question. And I just want to add a disclaimer that I haven't been back since 2020. So, and there've been recent changes politically, so things might have changed. But for now, businesses in South Africa, it's easier, I think, to run a business. There's a lot of help, there's a lot of support. Maybe I experienced it as an expat, so that was very different. You can't really own a business without a Chinese partner in China, but in South Africa, you can own anything you like. There's a very, I don't know if you know 996, Jojo Liu. So that is 9 a.m., 9 p.m., 6 days a week. That sort of culture that there is in China. So it's a very different business environment. We sort of value our downtime, and that is expected of you in China. You work long hours all the time, and because there's so many other businesses and so many other people that it's a numbers game. You've got to be on top of it all the time, not like here where there's 60 million people versus 1.4 billion people really hustling. So that is the major difference. And I also want to add what Lyndall was saying about the manufacturing process. I actually also found it's quite expensive. Everyone assumes that Chinese goods are cheap and all of that. You can find they've got tiers of cheap products and really high-end products. And most of the time what you're going to get and what you want for a South African business, it's going to be pricey. HR is also quite a big factor. The labor laws are also really different. So yeah, it's chalk and cheese when you think about it. But and the future is that I'm not too sure with the recent political changes, but I would love to return, and I do want to go back and run a business from there as well. But with BRICS, and there's always been great support for South Africans in China, and I feel the same vice versa. And I think it's quite a positive outlook for the future.
100%. 100%. Thank you very much. We have a question from Gail who wants to know, what is the most important challenge that women face today? Who would like to respond to Gail? I mean, I can think of quite a few, Gail. I think since lockdown, some of the challenges that we face are that we have to maintain work-life balance. Working from home, kids are there, they see mommy there, they think that if they see mommy must be making three meals a day, playing with you, but mommy's got the same responsibilities as dad, but because we're also the caregiver, we have that responsibility when we're sitting at home. So maintaining just some kind of a balance, like you're never off when you're working remotely as a woman, I think becomes incredibly difficult. I mean, I'm thinking we have a recruitment business and an executive search business, and I listen to some of and we coach, and I listen to some of the things that people say. So that was a very, very big one where women were just exhausted. They're just like always on. Whereas dad is kind of just left alone, and it's understood that he's in the study and he's working. I think another big challenge is that there isn't critical mass of women in leadership positions. And so the policies of businesses reflect a male-dominated society. I mean, people do what they know, but can you imagine how disastrous that is when you've got a board that consists only of men writing the maternity policies, right, in the company's handbook? It's absolutely nonsensical, which is why it becomes absolutely critical that we start to have women, we start to have critical mass of women in leadership positions, so that they can start to influence the policies that businesses make, that are reflective of the women in their organization. I mean, the previous question about, it seems like promotions only goes to those who go to boys' night out drinking, right? You'll find that potentially that's a very male-dominated environment or a male-dominated team, or there's something in the culture, right, that is not understanding of maybe the lifestyle choices of women. And so because that balance isn't there, it then becomes reflected in the everyday experience of the people working in that business. I don't know if anybody wants to add any more. I've got so many, I could keep going forever, but I'd like to, maybe take one or two more from someone else in the panel. We've got 2 raised hands from participants here as well. Anybody else want to add to that?
I can add to that, Zanile. I think I'll make one point because then the other ladies can make other points. I think the other thing is women are so busy trying to look after themselves in business because it's so tough. So they often not seen to be helping others along the way. So they need to, I think women need to, it is harder for them, but they need to work harder at paying it forward, getting people, helping them to move up that ladder so that we can build critical mass. Otherwise, you aren't going to build critical mass. Men are not going to do that. The other thing is, you have competent women, but they're treated as women. So they are competent people, but they are labeled as competent women. And we need to start building a culture of labeling ourselves as competent people, not competent women.
I was just going to say, absolutely. And I think sometimes women can also be the problem of other women. I mean, when you get to the top, are you holding the ladder down for others to climb up? Or are you kind of like kicking it and saying on your own, I made it here on my own merit, everybody else needs to figure it out for themselves? Are you holding the door open for others? I think those are, so sometimes we think our challenges are just from, men per se, but or the environment. But I think that sometimes, it's women as well. I mean, it's quite complex. When you look at the dynamics that create the challenges in our working lives as women. Anybody else have, go ahead, Lenore.
You've touched on a point that I wanted to touch on as well, which is very close and dear to me, because unfortunately, my personal experiences, the challenges that I have faced are from women, from other women. As you say, when you as a female gets to the top, do you actually lower the ladder and empower and help and uplift? In my situation, unfortunately, I haven't had that. And for me, I just feel it's so important for us to empower each other, not to forget where we come from, take a step back and make sure that we're truly there in the true aspect of it. Be there to support each other, not to put each other down. When you see your sister doing well, support your sister, speak about your sister, let other people know about your sister. Don't be selfish about it. There's so much, the pie is so big for all of us to have a slice of. Why do you want to keep it all to yourself? So if we can truly just be sisters and help each other, assist each other.
But I also think society creates this perception that there's only room for one, right? Like we need a female on our board, or we need a Black female in our structure, or, they create this perception that there can only be one of us. So it then feeds into this sort of like scarcity mentality where I have to self-preserve, right? Because there is only room for one, when that's absolutely not true. That one can bring on a second, who brings on a third, who brings on a fourth, and then through that, we start to shift the landscape. I personally don't even, I always say to people that affinity bias is a real thing, right? People do what they know. If I'm interviewing somebody for a job in my business, or I'm interviewing somebody for a particular, whatever the outcome is that I'm looking for, I'm going to be influenced by certain things. I'm going to be influenced by if the person comes in and they talk like me and they dress like me and we have the same hobbies, or we know the same things, or we like the same things, or, you know, all of those type of things contribute to me feeling bonded to that particular person. So of course, men are potentially going to feel affinity to those who reflect, right, their own values. And so that's why it's important that you got to then start to bring women in, because then they can start to bring in other women, and that way we start to shift the landscape. Another question: is it vital to have a mentor in your business? And is it just for starting a business, or is it vital to have a mentor through your entrepreneurial journey? Who wants to give some feedback there? Mentors. Have any of our panel had mentors? I know, Jackie, you mentor people, but any of our panel now, have you had a mentor? Did it add value to your journey?
So Nelly, I've had, oh, go, sorry, Gabby.
No, it's okay. I've had an opportunity to be mentored because the industry doesn't come with straightforward directives on how to get into the industry. I would specifically speak about starting an agriculture college. You know, there's a whole lot of bureaucracy which one wouldn't know until you get into the space, and then you realize this was also one of the industry that was also so limited and sort of closed down to even young women to get into. I'm speaking about compliance, just getting, you know, first in recognition. That's number one, and the requirement that comes with it, and how you also, you know, valued in currency value if you are potentially capable financially to even start an institution on its own. But we have to consider, and I think this is what it has actually helped me to bring in forces, and that would also be very much reprimandative with me, where I'm not evaluating myself as an unable person, but as a person who is a work in progress. So a mentor is a vitality to growth, to progress, and to process, because for you to actually get into the next stage of the dream that you have, the passion that you have, you need processes. And if you don't have a mentor, one of the biggest things is that you're building to bury yourself in your same dream that you want to build. So in a nutshell, a mentor is a key sustainability source to any business development.
Absolutely agree with you. And also, you know, how do you know? You don't know what you don't know. You don't know where your gaps are if you don't know it's a gap. And if you have somebody who is familiar with the terrain, who's familiar with where you're going, who's familiar with what you're doing, it can really hold space for you as you're navigating your journey. And I don't think that it's something you need only at the beginning of your career. I think that it's something that can, you know, flow and ebb in and out of your career as you go through different phases in terms of, you know, your development as an individual as well. So yeah, absolutely agree with you there, Gabby. Lindell, you wanted to say something.
Well, so it's a slightly different opinion. I don't know whether it's an absolute essential at the beginning, because I feel like mentorship is also like a marriage. You have to find somebody that is suitable to partner with you. You know, you could have mentors in personal life, in your business life, through, you know, different facets of life. And I find that I had a really good mentor, but eventually we outgrew each other because there were certain things that didn't match up anymore. And I felt like there were certain limitations that were being placed on me in terms of my dreams and how to achieve it. So as much as we want to have mentors, it's so awesome to have somebody that really builds you and is able to fill in the gaps for you and develop you where you need to and feed your soul in that way. But also to know yourself and to know when a relationship has run its course, and to know then that, you know, maybe it's now your turn to be somebody else's mentor.
Absolutely. Very well said. And I think everything that was said before needs to be prefaced with that, is that it's not that you're going to have one mentor your whole life. You're going to meet different people along your journey, I think, at different stages. And they are there for whatever that particular season is. And yes, we grow, you know, and then you need something else, and you need something slightly different. Absolutely. Just to read some of the comments though. So definitely from Zoom user, definitely Zanele, spot on. Women bring women down in the world of work. Another comment says, absolutely, women do judge each other. If you think about attending a function and the pressure of finding that perfect dress, it's actually for women, because men either don't even notice or care. It's the woman who will be thinking, look at her, what is she wearing? Women, another comment, women need to empower and encourage each other, and we need to fix each other's crowns. Absolutely awesome. And then another one, the youth today are so different. Their definition of hard work is very different to the hard work that we put in. Their focus is not on their career or independence. Is there any guidance on how to navigate through this? I'm very passionate about creating a space for young ladies to be 100% authentic, to be confident and fearless and reach dreams this world has told them are unattainable. My challenge is that young ladies are now constantly talking on their phone. When you suggest anything that they can do better, it becomes a whole day of them complaining amongst each other. I'm close to reaching the stage of taking a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. Sorry, where are we there? Anybody got any comments on that specific one? I'm not going to answer this one. I have a 21-year-old who, this is the story of my life. I can tell you the battles I go through, but maybe somebody else. What do we do about the youth? Their value system is so different to ours. But the world is also a changed world. So what does that actually mean?
Zanele, can I just take this one? I'm actually a mother of two girls, 24 and 21. And as much as, you know, it is a different world that they're living in, I also find that the youth of today are so highly intellectual. Yes, it's all about social media, but I find that I can learn so much from them. They always bring a new perspective. And, you know, they always cause you to think out of the box, which is what I admire from them as well. So, you know, they have so much to share. And I think we need to give them a chance as well. You know, we provide them the guidance. Yes, of course. But I think we allow them to be leaders in their own right as well. Agreed. Absolutely. And congrats on that. Yeah, like I said, 21, we're still there. We're trying to push, but incredibly intellectual. I mean, they can challenge you, and you better have your story straight. All right, awesome. Anybody else?
So I just wanted to add, can you hear me? Oh, recently I actually read something very interesting, and it's titled "The Camels Are on the Horizon." And I just want to read a little bit from it about this and the youth. And this is just a little insert of it. It said, "My grandfather rode a camel. My father rode a camel. I ride a Mercedes. My son rides a Land Rover. And my grandson is going to drive a Land Rover. But my great-grandson is going to have to ride a camel again. Why is that? Hard times create strong men create easy times create weak men create difficult times. Many will not understand, but you have to be warriors." And that is something I feel like right now, that is what we're dealing with. If you look at the last 30 years, things got a bit easier, you know, things got a bit lush all over. It's not just and this is coming from, I've lived in China, and I've traveled, and I have friends in different parts of the world, and it's not just a South African problem. This is a problem world over with young people. I mean, with the rise of likes of TikTok, Instagram, everyone aspires for the nice things, but they don't know that you work for it, because you can become a TikToker and earn millions of rands or dollars within one clip. So everyone thinks that is the real life. And it's just about realizing that that's not the real life. And that's all. It stems from education, but the cycle's going to go over again. There are going to be hard times and people are going to learn from it again. And that's why I just thought it's something I read recently and it just resonated with this particular topic. Okay.
So incredibly apt. Thank you for sharing. Okay, I think this brings us to a close of today's session. 5 seconds, everybody. Final words that we'd like to share with our audience and to thank everybody who joined us. Anele, you just spoke. We'll start with you. 1 sentence, closing.
Thank you so much. I'm absolutely grateful to be part of this. I thought Tracy was joking when she called me. I had to ask her a few times, is this the right person? And all I'm just going to say about this is do what you can with what you have. That's just it. You don't need to be an expert. Do what you can with what you have, and everything is figure outable.
Awesome. Agreed. Lenore.
Let me unmute. 1 sentence. I'm honored, humbled, and grateful to be amongst such amazing women. And for me, it's simple. We are blessed to be blessings. So in a nutshell, that's it.
Thank you so much. Yushi. 1 sentence.
Say yes. Talent not used is talent wasted. And I honestly believe if you really enjoy what you do, you will never have to work a day in your life.
No truer words. Gabby, 1 sentence.
Nutshell is don't follow trends, set trends.
Thank you. Lindell, 1 sentence.
Wherever you at, excel.
Wonderful. Love that. Jasmina, 1 sentence.
Oh, I'm so glad to have found this sisterhood where there's so many of you that in the same position that I am, just different industries, but it's nice to know the struggle's very real. The challenges are very real.
Fantastic. And it is a sisterhood. And I think these kind of forums are absolutely fantastic. When we share our stories, you never know whose life you could actually impact and shift. Fantastic. Thank you. Caroline.
I think I'm just so excited by the dialogue that started this evening. And I know everyone's probably got so many more things they can say and do and share. So yeah, I'm really excited to be able to be given this platform to meet these ladies and also talk to other people. It's so important we have this forum and we help uplift each other.
Fantastic. Absolutely agree. Jackie.
Just enthused to be working with such bright young minds.
Fantastic. And Cherry. I think we can finally see your face.
You can see me. Attitude with gratitude. Embrace life. Oh, thank you. Attitude with gratitude. Embrace life every second of every day and never give up.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll be having another a webinar the same time next week where we will have the next set of finalists. So 3rd of November and then the 10th of November, we will have another webinar as well. So bring your questions and hopefully we can add some value. Have a good evening and thanks for giving us your time. Good night.
Thank you, Zanele.
Thank you, Zanele. Thanks, ladies.
Thanks, ladies.